Hello guys, welcome back to the video on the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the first 5 opening games of the season for every championship club for the new campaign. Of course, the fixtures got released yesterday, so today I'm going to be taking a look at every club individually, looking at the opening 5 and seeing how many points really they should be aiming for. I'm going to have a look at who's got the toughest run in, the toughest opening to the season, and stuff like that. So hopefully you all going to enjoy the video. If you do, please drop a like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell if you enjoy this sort of content, and let me know in the comments if you enjoy it as well, and let me know how you think your club's going to do in this new season. So let's start straight away. Birmingham City. We're going to go in alphabetical order. Birmingham City to start us underway. On screen now you can see the opening 5 games for them. They started off away at the Swansea.com. My team Swansea. I don't think this would be an easy game for them. Then they travelled to Leeds, host Leeds. Then they got Bristol, Plymouth and Millwall in there. I think out of these games, Swansea, I'm going to say it's a tough game because it's my club, obviously. Of course, last season they had a bit of joy here. Leeds, of course, newly relegated side from the Premier League. That's going to be a tricky one to see where Leeds are at mentally, because relegation, of course, does hammer your mentality, and mentally it's draining, really, getting relegated from the Premier League. Bristol, Plymouth and Millwall also in there. For Birmingham, probably should be looking to pick up points against Plymouth for sure, a newly promoted side. Maybe the likes of Bristol and Swansea as well. As for Leeds and Millwall, they are, of course, teams that should and are expected to be at the top end of the Championship. So for Birmingham, it's not the easiest start to the season, but there's a few games in there where you would fancy them to pick up a few points early on. On to Blackburn. Their opening game of the season is against West Bromwich Albion. Then they take on Rotherham, Hull, Watford and Plymouth as well. So for Blackburn, so far, there's 2 games in there with the big teams, West Brom and Watford. The other 3 you would fancy Blackburn to get probably wins out of, maybe sneak a draw against West Brom or Watford, or maybe both of them. So looking on it from Blackburn, it's not bad at all, it's pretty decent. A few favourable fixtures in there. They should be getting a few points early on this season. Next up, we have a look at Bristol City, Preston, Millwall, Birmingham, Hull and Swansea. Yeah, same for them. Very favourable fixtures. Nice start for Bristol. The tricky games, of course, you'd look at Preston, sort of. They were mid-table last season in the Championship. Millwall was a good one. Birmingham and Hull, I know both of them are trying to get up further in the Championship, but they're teams that will be around Bristol City come the end of the season, I'd imagine. So they probably hope to get 3 points in both of them. And then Swansea, bit of a rivalry in this one. So, yeah, it's a tough game. As a Swans fan, of course, I'd say that. But, yeah, maybe a draw for Bristol would be a good result in that one. I'm not too sure. But yeah, nice start for Bristol City this season. Next up, Cardiff, and it is sort of mixed on the opening 5. They start off at Leeds, then they play QPR, which they don't look going into the season very strong, so they should be fancying this one for a few points. Leicester, so they play 2 of the relegated sides from the Premier League in the opening 5 already, even in the opening 3. Then they've got newly promoted Sheffield Wednesday and Ipswich. Cardiff probably should be aiming for wins in 3 of those 5 games. If they get 3 wins in that opening 5, it's very good. A lot of people are rating Ipswich, but on the flip side of things, QPR and Sheffield Wednesday and Ipswich will be looking at Cardiff as a team that will be probably around them this season. Of course, the newly promoted sides' first objective is to stay in the division, and Cardiff were down the last season, so these sort of sides will be wanting to get something around against the teams that were down there last season. Very good opportunity too against Cardiff. Up next is Coventry, and I do think this is probably the toughest out of the lot. Leicester, Middlesbrough, Swansea, Sunderland and Watford. Yeah, that is very, very tricky. Leicester just got relegated. Middlesbrough, they played Coventry in the playoffs. Swansea, I'm backing us under Duff now to do well. Sunderland, playoff semi-finalists. Watford, incredible club really. So Coventry, that's very tricky. Any points in there are going to be good points. Sort of interesting to see that they're getting the really tricky games out of the way first, and then moving on to easier periods in the season later on. Let me know, Cov fans, what do you think about this running to start the season? Up next, Huddersfield, and this one's pretty tricky as well. They started off against Plymouth, then it gets interesting, pretty tricky already. Leicester, Borough, Norwich, and West Brom. So not easy at all for Huddersfield. To be hoping to get a few points on the board early doors against Plymouth on the opening day. Yeah, there's some really tricky fixtures there, aren't there? Hull City next. Now, this one's sort of a mixed bag again. They play Norwich on the opening day, followed by Sheffield Wednesday. They'll be hoping to pick up a few points there. Then Blackburn, which is always a tricky game to predict Blackburn. You never know what you're going to quite expect. Bristol City, the Hull definitely, as I said, for Bristol City, be looking to get something against Bristol. And then Leicester, I think Leicester this season will be fantastic, by the way. So for me, that's going to be a very tricky game when everyone comes up against them. For Hull, it's in the first five. Tricky start, but still some points they can get on the board early doors. Up next to newly promoted Ipswich, of course, coming second in League One last season. They started off against Sunderland, then they face Stoke, QPR, Leeds and Cardiff. So very mixed for them. Of course, Stoke, recent years, they haven't had the best of time in the Championship, finishing in the bottom half every season since they come down from the Premier League. Leeds and Cardiff in there, also favourable fixtures for Ipswich. So definitely a chance to get some points early doors on the board for Ipswich. A lot of people this season predicting Ipswich already to do really well. I'll have to wait till the end of the season. End of the season, a bit too late for that, isn't it? End of the transfer window to see where I think Ipswich will finish. Of course, got to make my predictions officially before that time, but you know what I mean. I'll have a better understanding in a few weeks' time of what to expect from Ipswich. But at the moment, there's a lot of hype with a very good manager. Up next, the Leeds. They face Cardiff, Birmingham, West Brom, tricky, then Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday. So really, 4 out of the 5 there should be wins and are favourable fixtures for them. West Brom's a game where you would expect a tough game between these two sides, but Cardiff, Birmingham, Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday. Leeds definitely can get off to a good start this season. Very nice fixtures for them on their return to the Championship. Up next, we talk about Leicester. Now, they first face off the return to the Championship against last year's playoff finalists, Coventry. Of course, we've already spoken about their starts of the season to be really tricky. So they're going to be looking to get as many points on the board as soon as possible. Then Huddersfield probably will win that one. Cardiff, Rotherham and Hull. So yeah, favourable fixtures for Leicester to start off the season. I think they'll do really well this season, and some nice fixtures to start them off for the season. Off to Middlesbrough now, and last season was a very good season for Middlesbrough in a whole. Of course, didn't start too well. They'd be hoping to start this season well under Michael Carrick. They start off against Millwall, then Coventry, Huddersfield, West Brom and QPR. Out of that look, out of them games, it's a mixed bag already. You look at West Brom, you look at Millwall, you look at Coventry. 3 tricky games. Middlesbrough probably could overcome them though. So yeah, nice start for them. I do see a few challenges in there, but it's not the hardest we've seen so far. So Middlesbrough, very, very promising start for you lot this season. Can you take advantage of it? We'll have to wait and see. Off to Millwall now. Their fixtures, of course, Borough on the opening day, followed by Bristol, Norwich, Stoke and Birmingham. So once again, they'll be hoping to get the playoffs this season under Gary Rowett at the Den for Millwall. Looking at these fixtures, Norwich stand out as a tricky banana peel, as well as Middlesbrough. The other 3, they'll be looking to get 3 points in them. But, you know, this season I do think Bristol could be a dark horse. And I've got a funny feeling about Stoke this season. I don't know what it is. We'll have to see if they make any big transfers for me to have any reasoning to have a funny feeling about them or not. Up next is Norwich, of course. Hull to start the season off, followed by Southampton. The first time we've mentioned them in this video. That's not going to be easy at all. Millwall, Huddersfield and Rotherham after that. So for Norwich, the expectation's always there for them to be up there in the Championship. These fixtures should start them off really well. Looking at them, probably 3 wins, 1 defeat, 1 draw. The draw being Millwall in there, the defeat to Southampton. The other 3 probably should be winning for Norwich. Another newly promoted side, Plymouth this time. Yeah, their start to the season is not too bad. Huddersfield, Watford, Southampton, Birmingham and Blackburn. Birmingham and Huddersfield, them games are the ones they'll be targeting straight away off the back in the first 5 to get points on the board, even if it is only draws. Watford, Southampton and Blackburn, they're the teams that you expect to be in the top half of the Championship, so a little bit out of reach so far for Plymouth. You never know though, it is the Championship, so anything can happen, but just looking into it, that's sort of the way I'm looking at the teams. Are they top half material? Are they mid-table? Or are they bottom half? That's how I'm sort of approaching this. So for me, Plymouth really should be targeting Birmingham and Huddersfield 4 points. The other 3, anything against them is just a bonus. Off to Preston North End now. Bristol, Sunderland. So not too easy to get started. Then it eases off a little bit with Sheffield Wednesday. Back up against it though with Swansea and Stoke, so it is a pretty tricky start for Preston, but no massive side in there that you expect to be top 6 straight away jumping out at you. Maybe you can make a case for Swansea or Sunderland, but Preston is really tricky to say for this one, and you never know what you're going to get from Preston, let's be honest. So I don't know how to feel about this one for Preston. Let me know, Preston fans. You tell me. You happy with this? Let me know in the comments. Off to QPR, and they'll be hoping to improve on their finish last season. Starting off against Watford. They've also got Southampton in there and Middlesbrough. However, 2 favourable fixtures for them against Cardiff and Ipswich. They'll be looking to pick up points against. Anything against Watford, Southampton or Middlesbrough could definitely benefit them. The thing about playing the big teams first is, we've seen it many seasons before, the big sides sometimes start off really slow, so it is sort of a bonus for these sides that you expect to be struggling going into the new campaign, playing them first, because if they are struggling, the bigger sides, get something while they're down, and at the end of the season it could be looked back on as a massive result. On to Rotherham, they'll be hoping to extend their stay back in the Championship. Stoke, Blackburn, Sunderland, Leicester and Norwich in there. It starts off decent with Stoke, then it gets very tough. Blackburn, Sunderland, Leicester and Norwich. Rotherham, I can't see them getting many points out of the opening 5 there. Really tough start for the Millers. Next up, Southampton. Now, this season will be really interesting for the Saints, of course, appointing Russell Martin. We all know, me as a Swansea fan as well, I know as well it takes a long time for his process to really kick in and for it to click. But when it clicks, it is fantastic. Of course, he'll have pre-season with them. Starting off against Sheffield Wednesday, definitely a winnable game. Norwich, from what they were last season, they weren't anything special. This season, I'm expecting a big improvement from them. So it could prove to be a really tricky game early on. Plymouth, QPR and Sunderland probably should be wins for Southampton. So the only tricky test in there to start the season off for Southampton probably is either Sunderland or Norwich. But then again, we are in a Championship. Every game is tricky. Stoke now, and I did say earlier on, I got a funny feeling about Stoke. I think this year something will happen with them. I can see them moving out the Championship this season. I don't know if they're going to go up or go down, but the opening 5 games for them aren't bad at all. 2 tough teams in there, noticeable straight away, that you think, oh, hang on, will they get something out of them, in Millwall and Watford. The other 3 though, definitely winnable for Stoke, and you expect them to pick up at least a point in each of them games. On to last year's 6th place finishers. Sunderland, they start off against Ipswich, Preston, Rotherham. That's a nice 3-game entry back into the new season. Then it steps up a bit. Coventry and Southampton, very tricky them too. So Sunderland, how many points do you think you're going to get to start the season off in your opening 5? Let me know in the comment section down below. For me, I think 7 will be a very good return from those 5. And next up to my team, Swansea are opening 5 games. Now, when I looked at the fixture list yesterday morning, first of all that noticed me was Birmingham, of course, probably should be winning that one. West Brom, Coventry, back-to-back, really tough games. Don't expect us to pick up anything in them two, although in my reaction to our games, I did mention our recent fortunes against West Brom. We've done well against West Brom in recent times, so maybe pick up something there. Then Preston and Bristol, which are, of course, mid-table teams, but can always throw a spanner in the works. And one season, they'll surprise everyone and go all the way, potentially, up or down. You never know. So I'm happy with the opening 5. I'd definitely take 8 to 10 points in the opening 5. I think that's definitely realistic for us and definitely doable as well. Off to Watford now. They'll be hoping to improve on their finish last season. They started off with a very nice opening 3 games. QPR, Plymouth and Stoke. Then teams around them from last season, Coventry and Blackburn, they play. So they do need to get the points on the board early doors this season. Blackburn and Coventry do stand out as the tricky games there. But, you never know what to expect from Watford. Ismail could be sacked by this point. How long do you guys think he's going to last? Will he get all the way to the 5th fixture of the season? Or never mind that, will he make the opening day? Let me know in the comment section down below. And finally, we take a look at West Brom's opening 5 games. Blackburn, Swansea, Leeds, Middlesbrough and Huddersfield. That's no easy start to the season. Yeah, Huddersfield's one straight away you look at, probably 3 points. Probably from West Brom's point of view, Swansea as well, maybe even Blackburn. Don't know what to expect from Blackburn this season, of course. Losing Ben Brereton, see how they replace him. But Leeds and Middlesbrough, certainly a tough couple of games there for West Brom. Well then guys, that is it for today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, as I say. If you have, please drop a like and subscribe. There's every team's opening 5 games to the new campaign. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It did take me quite a while to put the graphics on screen and prepare all them, but it's worth it for you guys if you enjoy the videos. So let me know in the comment section down below how you think your side's going to do in the opening 5 games, and what other videos you want to see on the Premier League, Championship or any other league in the football world. Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next one very soon guys. Take care. Goodbye.